What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of the Snug Wrestling Podcast. My name is Edgar. I am the host, and today we got a special show ready for everybody because we got a very special guest here with us tonight. We got the standard bearer, Chris Steeler, setting the standard yesterday, today, and tomorrow. He is a current Warriors of Wrestling heavyweight champion, current and first time ever Fight Factory Wrestling Openweight Champion. And man, this guy, he's been a part of some of the biggest cards in the independent scene, and he shared the ring with some of the biggest names in the game. So it is an honor to have you on the show, Chris Steeler. Thank you for being on. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great, man. It's been a long day, man, but I'm feeling good.
Right on, man. Well, thank you for taking the time, man. I just when I get started with these interviews, I first want to get to know um, the person before the wrestler. So, just my first question to get things started here is, where are you from, Chris Steeler? Where did you come from?
So, born and raised in New Jersey, and I'm still here. Been here my whole life. Um, Grew up, good life. Nothing too crazy, but high school, played a couple sports. Not wrestling, which is funny, but played some sports in high school. Had my, just like everybody has some of their issues in high school. But wrestling, once I found wrestling, that's where I really feel like I found myself.
So you didn't start off as a wrestler. So what sports did you play before you got into wrestling?
So I played soccer and baseball because when I did try to when I was approached by my high school wrestling coach, and they told me what I needed to do, like how much weight I needed to cut. My mom was like, not signing that permission slip. Then I wanted to play football. My mom was like, nope, not signing that permission slip either. So she stuck with soccer and baseball. But then when I somehow convinced her to walk into the wrestling school for the first time, she went, no, I'm not signing this permission slip either because I was underage, and somehow convinced her to do it. And then, 23 years later, I'm still doing it. So,
Are you still a big soccer guy?
not as much. I'll watch. I'll admit I'll watch the World Cup.
Okay.
But it's mostly baseball when it comes to sports on that end. Then hockey, then football, then basketball. But wrestling is honestly it's above the rest. It's above all of them.
As far as like the need, or you have to have specific talents obviously to be a pro wrestler. Are you saying like pro wrestling is like the most difficult sport that you've ever done? Is that safe to say?
Oh yeah, because it's not a lot of people don't get it. Like they don't truly understand that it's completely different than anything else because it's not just physical, it's completely mental at the exact same time, which makes the physical part even harder because there's
Yeah.
so much that you have to think about in split seconds that the mental is sometimes more important than the physical.
Yeah, no, that's yeah, I can believe that for sure. I'm also a big soccer guy. I grew up playing, soccer, basketball. So I get where you're coming from. I've never actually tried pro wrestling. I was always scared to do it. When I was in high school, I was approached by a wrestling coach and was like, "Hey, I need a guy your size. Do you want to join? You don't have to try out. Just show up." And I'm like, "Nah, I'm good. I'm good." So I don't know. You got to be a little kind of crazy to get into pro wrestling. Hey, if you ask me, that's just my opinion. But
No, you're not wrong. You're not wrong at all.
so how did you actually end up getting started wrestling, and like what made you say, you know what, I'm gonna try this out?
It's funny. I always love telling the story because it's kind of how I try to base my life now off of some of my past experiences. But in high school, you know, I'll be blatantly honest, I was the one that would get picked on. I was the one that would get beat up. I was the one that would get, bullied around. And just like a lot of people, I did do a little bit of like, backyard wrestling, just like we all kind of did. Um, and I thought that was going to stop the bullying because it was a lot of the bullies that watched wrestling and did that back. So I was like, oh, if I get in with this, maybe they'll leave me alone. It made it worse. And then I actually found somebody who went to a different school who found out that I liked wrestling and that I did a little bit of the backyard, whatever I was doing. And he said, "Oh, come over to my house. You'll see something pretty cool." Went to his house, and he somehow convinced his mother to allow him to purchase and build a 20-foot by 20-foot high spots ring in his backyard.
Yeah,
And
hell yeah.
that's where I actually learned to take my first few bumps. And this was the time when, like, Tough Enough first came out. And
Okay.
there were some of those like YouTube videos where it was like, learn how to wrestle. So I would kind of like watch it and then do it in this kid's ring in the winter time when it's completely iced over. Stupid. But I did it there. And then once I walked into a wrestling school when I was 17, uh it wasn't as hard for me to learn how to bump. It was hard for me to
Yeah.
learn everything else, but the bumps didn't really kill me too much because I kind of already did it a little bit in an outside ring, I guess you would
Well,
say.
yeah, you were wrestling in on top of ice, so
That wasn't fun. That was stupid.
yeah, I think if you can handle that, you can handle like a regular ring. I would assume because
Yeah.
um, well, yeah, man, that was a while ago. So I mean, you've been doing this for a pretty long time. Correct me if I'm wrong. At least 20 years, right?
Yeah,
In the game.
2000. Yeah, I stepped foot in for the first time was in 2002. And I've been consistently training and working since then. So it's I think at one point I took maybe like 3 or 4 months off just because I had some back injuries.
Hmm.
Because this was like kind of like right in the beginning of my career. Because I was smaller. I was
Hmm.
maybe 170 pounds, 165 pounds. So in the training, I would get thrown around, and being so light, when you hit the ring and you take that bump, if you don't have the weight, you can't push the ring down as much, so it hurts a lot more. And there was points
Mm.
where I couldn't even get up out of bed anymore. I had to roll off my bed to get up, and I was just like, I can't do this. And I was young, so I was just like, I'm just gonna stop, it's okay. um, and then what's funny is at the you know I all my gear at the time was hung up in front of my door, and I kept walking past it, and one day I just kind of grabbed it all, threw it in a bag, and went back, and I had never stopped since.
Yeah, man. No, yeah, dude. I've learned a lot about your career since we first spoke, and man, you've had a great career in the independent scene, man. And now you're currently holding two belts, double champion, two belt Chris Steeler.
Yeah.
Tell us a little bit about first the Warriors of Wrestling. What can you tell us about that promotion and how you became world or the heavyweight champion for this company?
Yeah, Warriors is where I consider it to be my home now. I've spent more time there than I did in my where I originally trained at. Um, I've been there for now 14 years. About that, yeah, I came in on their right before their fourth anniversary show, and this year in December we're gonna mark our 18th anniversary. Um, and again, a company that's consistent every single month, sometimes twice, um, and it's honestly one of the best locker rooms I've ever been in. One of the better training facilities because it's clean, it's always there, it's safe, things along those lines. But when I came in, what's funny is I came in as a complete outsider. It was, 14 years ago. I got a phone call at 3 o'clock in the morning from a friend of mine. His name was Jason Karloff, and he was currently on the roster, and somebody needed a match. Somebody needed an opponent. So he reached out to me. He's like, "Hey, you worked this guy before. Do you mind coming to Brooklyn and working him again?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, absolutely." So I came in as a complete unknown to that crowd, and a complete honest outsider. And
Mhm.
then, I did what I try to do everywhere I go, and I just try to just be something different than what everybody else sees. Um, and that goes on a couple different levels. When I first started in wrestling, like flying around was actually being different. And
Mm,
now not flying is being different. And I pride myself on being different, but
yeah.
also because I can't do it. So, so I can't do a lot of high flying things. So I use that as a cool crutch to be like, no, I'll be different. I won't fly. But
Yeah.
yeah, and I kind of picked up momentum in that first year being at Warriors. And the crowd just kind of started to naturally get on my side. And I came in as a heel. I came in as a bad guy because I was just easily hated. Just because I at the time I had two color. I did like the two color hair. I had a very high mohawk. One side was blonde, one side was black. I did crazy, stupid designs in my beard and my hair. So I just looked like a typical d bag. So it was very easy to hate me. But the crowd just started to naturally get behind me, and the owner of the company, Joe Bellini, decided to back me and let the crowd naturally turn me, and they turned me baby, and I won the title the next anniversary show. So on their fifth anniversary show, I won it for the first time, and it was one of the first times that I felt validated, um, because a company looked at me being like, well, he's not one of
Mm,
us, but look what he's doing, and trusted me to carry the company for a long time. And I had some of my most favorite, my best matches that first title run. I got to work and wrestle some of like the biggest names. Um, I got to wrestle Bobby Roode, which was a dream match of mine. I got to wrestle EC3, which was a crazy match as well. I got to wrestle um, uh, Austin Aries there. I've gotten to team with Rikishi. I got to team with Scotty 2 Hotty. I got to team with so many and wrestle so many different big names that like I never in a crazy lifetime thought it would be possible to wrestle certain people, and Warriors gave me that opportunity and still gives me that opportunity after all this
yeah.
all this time. So
Yeah, man, that's amazing, dude. Yeah. I mean, I only knew about like half of those names. Like, I had no idea like that you had wrestled, like Bobby Roode. That's amazing to hear, man. And
Oh, and Chavo, and like I got to uh, I marked out because I'm like I get to wrestle, and I know it happens everywhere. Everybody gets to wrestle these guys all the time, but like I feel like when it happens to you, it's a little bit more special. And I mean, I got to wrestle somebody from a legendary family who in the match did things for me that he didn't have to. He let me, he didn't hit it, and he let me hit the Three Amigos. Like
oh my god.
that was like I was like this is like an amazing feeling. Like it's to some people that sounds stupid, but like to me, I'm like you're letting me do something that is so iconic to a Guerrero, and you're
Yeah.
letting me hit it, and you're not hitting it. Like it was so cool, and that's happened more often than not. That with a lot of these like big stars that come in, you know, they let you do a lot of stuff with them because they know like it means a lot to
Mhm.
certain people.
Yeah. Um so you came into this company just like out of nowhere, right? Not expecting much of anything, and then you turn out to find a lot of success in this company, and it was kind of like the perfect fit. And then
Yeah.
since then, man, you've been having all these, matches with all these great names and everything, but that's only half of it, I feel like, because that's only one company, that's one title, right? You're also part of another company, and this is when you became the first ever Fight Factory Openweight Champion there, right?
Yes.
So I want to go back to some of those matches that you mentioned, but I want to hear first about the Fight Factory, and how is it that you became the first ever open weight champion there. Was this a new company or is this a new championship that was created? What can you tell us about that?
So it's a little bit of both. Fight Factory Wrestling is a company ran by um, Dave Sergio, Chris Payne. These guys wanted to do something different and special and kind of change what independent wrestling means, especially in like the Northeast, especially New Jersey. Because when it comes to New Jersey, there's a lot of independent wrestling companies, but I'll be honest, very few are professional. Fight Factory is super professional. You know, so far there's only been 3 shows. Last year they did their first show. Um, it was like a a special 2 specialty matches on another independent show's card. And Dave reached out to me and asked me to be a part of it and be the first match as a showcase match. And I was happy to do it. I'm like, oh yeah, this is great. Didn't know how big it was gonna get. Then in the summer of last year, they did their first War on the Shore where we wrestled on the beach at Martell's Tiki Bar in Point Pleasant, New Jersey. Literally put the ring on the beach. It was crazy. It was so fun. And I mean, you're talking about over 1,000 people were watching. Um, and it's just like it was such an amazing feeling just to be part of something so big. And then they did that War on the Shore. Then they did a third show in Staten Island at the baseball stadium for minor league, the Staten Island Ferry Hawks,
Mm.
um, which I competed in the first ever tag match, which was really cool. Then we did War on the Shore 2 just this past July, and it was even bigger than the first one. And that's where this championship came to be. It was a battle royal where the last man standing became the first ever open weight champion. And man, at the end of that match,
That
there
was
were
a
some
battle royal, right?
yeah, it was a battle royal. It was like a different style of a battle royal. So like the first 10 people started off in the ring, and then like every couple minutes another person would come in. Um, so it was like battle royal, then a little bit of like Royal Rumble style. But then it was just all out hell once everybody got in there.
Yeah.
And it was rough. It was tough. I mean, it was over 100 degrees out there, and everybody gave everything they got. Man, I was in there with some of the best talent ever, like in the Northeast. I'm talking about people like TJ Marconi, uh, Jay the Key Evans, um, Justin Carino, Falaba, who was in TNA for a while, who I came up with, in my original training school. Like some of these guys, man, they gave everything that they had, but I was luckily the one that was able to walk out with it. And
Yeah.
I'm very proud to be able to call myself the first, but I'm very proud to be representing Fight Factory Wrestling as we move into the next show, which is going to be in November, which we're doing at this place called Starland Ballroom in Sayreville, New Jersey, which is a concert venue. But the atmosphere when the ring is in there, I've wrestled there once before. It's crazy because it's just like the acoustics are crazy, the setup is crazy, and it's Jersey, so the fans are nuts.
Hell yeah, dude. That sounds dope, man. Yeah, definitely the people listening, be sure to check that out. Yeah, man. Dude, you mentioned some big names that you've shared the ring with before, and looking at some of the cards that you've been a part of, man, we're talking about like legends, current big stars. I mean, just to name drop some people, correct me if I'm wrong, MJF, Anthony Bowens, like you name them, you've probably faced them at one point or another in your career.
Uh,
Um, what is like, I'm not going to ask you, like, oh, what's your best match? I feel like that question gets asked like too many times, but I would say out of all these matches, out of all these names, what's been like your best or toughest rivalry in general? Like someone that you go back to, like, oh, I have to face this guy again. Like, is there some like a specific name that you've worked best with in your career?
Uh yeah. I would say the person that I've worked the best with that was a huge rival, and we've wrestled in multiple different promotions against each other. Some of the most brutal matches I've ever been in with him was Falaba. Um, I mean, he's a person that I can get in the ring with, and we can not speak for years beforehand, and we could not speak that day of and go out there and just kill it because we we've been great friends and we've been great enemies, and we've teamed with each other and we faced each other. um but I definitely had my craziest match with him, which I did three stages of hell match with him at Warriors, where we did a regular, like a singles match, and then we did a street fight, and then we did a last man standing. um, and it was nuts. I got some really, like, some of the best pictures that I've ever gotten taken of because I was busted open really bad. Um, and it was the first time that I've ever been busted open that bad. But I got like almost like that Stone Cold Steve Austin blood from a stone picture. Like I got pictures that look like that, and they're some of my best. It's like, it's weird to say it, but like they're my favorite pictures of me being bloodied. It's, wrestlers were weird, but we like stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, when you can make magic like that, yeah, that's a different type of professional, I guess, respect that you get with a lot of these guys. Um well, I mean, you're a pro wrestler, you're a former soccer player, former baseball player, and you're also a
Father.
you're a father, yes, but also a
Oh boy, I don't know what you're asking.
special guest referee. I saw that
Oh
at one
God.
point too. You were a
Yeah,
special guest
I was.
referee. What was that like?
So that was honestly, in 23 years, the most fun I've ever had inside the ring, because I didn't tell certain people what I was going to do. I only told like my closest friends that I was pulling out like HBK style shorts and a tank top, and I wasn't expecting the crowd to chant because I took off the shirt, and I showed that I had like the sleeveless shirt on, and the ring announcer, his name is Shane Fair, one of the best ring announcers ever. He was like, wait a minute, you, and he didn't know what I had underneath either. But he said, wait a minute, you told me you were doing Shawn Michaels HBK. This doesn't look like HBK. So the crowd started chanting, take it off, which I wasn't expecting them to chant. So I took off the pants, and I had, I mean, like the shortest booty shorts I could find that looked like a referee, and it was hilarious. I didn't care how embarrassing it was,
Yeah.
but I had so much fun with it because it was like I'm being HBK with his shorts and his all this stuff.
Yeah.
But oh man, it was so fun, but it was so stupid, and I loved it.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I always wondered, like, how different it is, like, when you're actually competing in the match, and, being a special guest referee, I assume is a big difference, and probably a lot easier too, because you're not really taking all the bumps there, right?
Oh yeah, it was nice to have a kind of like a night off without having to like kill myself that night. But oh man, I was grinning ear to ear the entire time. And everybody in the back who had no idea what I was wearing, came in the back, and they were just like shaking their head at me like, I can't believe you wore that.
Oh, that's awesome, man. That's lovely to hear. Um, so yeah, Chris, we talked about all the great cards that you've been a part of and all the people that you faced. And, you've been in the game for 20 years, and then you get this opportunity to wrestle for AEW. And I assume that this was kind of like a reunion for you because a lot of the people that were in the company at the time, this is 2022, if I'm not mistaken, you already knew them, you've wrestled them before in the past. So how was it like going into that environment for you and seeing all these people again? What was that experience like?
That was it was really cool because when I got there, I started seeing all these people that I haven't seen in a long time, but like people that I was like super proud of because they're doing it. Like they're part of a major company. They're on TV all the time. Like seeing people like Bowens and seeing people like at the time Sonny Kiss and Jay Lethal and all these people that deserved honestly to be there. It was great, and that whole time, you know I did extra work before for WWE, nothing crazy, but being there backstage for that when AEW was doing you know dark elevation and stuff that was truly helping truly helping independent wrestling because so many people got opportunities that wouldn't get opportunities elsewhere. And that day was a whirlwind because I get there and they're putting we do everything we're supposed to do. We sign in, we make our rounds, we say hi to everybody, everything we're supposed to do, and then they start listing out the matches, and I'm looking down and I don't see my name, and I was like, man, oh that sucks, but whatever, it is what it is. So I go back and I'm just gonna be like, I'm just gonna be around because you never know what they're gonna need. Um, and I run into Sonny Kiss for the first time, and big hug, like, hey, how you doing? Like, great to see you. And Sonny asks, what do oh, are you doing anything? Like, what are you doing tonight? I said, no, I'm not doing anything. I go, what are you doing? And Sonny goes, I'm not doing anything tonight either. Then see Sonny again. Sonny like, oh yeah, I got a tag match now instead. I'm teaming with Jay Lethal tonight. And I went, oh, but Lethal had a singles match. So I'm like, oh, wait a second, let me go. And I run back over to where the matches were listed, and I look and I see my name, and I was like, oh my god, this is awesome. I'm like, all right. So it
Hell
was
yeah.
it was it was me, and unfortunately I forget the other guy's name, against Sonny and Jay. And it was
Jaden
really,
Vallow.
yeah, yeah. And Sonny and Jay, big New Jersey, it was in Newark, so like big New Jersey, pop for being, Jay Lethal from, Elizabeth, New Jersey, and Sonny is being from Jersey as well. And I get out there and I'm looking around, and it was crazy because Sonny goes, hey, we're first match of the entire night. So it's good and bad, because good, they won't cut our time. If we have 6 minutes, we get 6 minutes, but not everybody's going to be in their seats, so it might not be too packed. And I was like, no, whatever, I still get, I get to wrestle. Like, this is crazy. Get out there, whole place was packed. Like, everybody was in from the get. And I look around, and
Nice.
there was like 9-10,000 people in the building that night. And I was like, I looked around, I'm like, this is so cool. And me knowing Sonny for so long and me knowing Jay for so long, you know, they let me do stuff like to they let me Jay let me punch him, and I got, which was crazy. I walked in the back, and I got compliments on my punch. Like, they're like, oh my god, like that was like one of the best punches that I've ever seen. I was like, oh my god, like that's crazy. Like the littlest thing like made me so happy. But then it was 20 years, and I finally got to wrestle like in an arena, and I don't even care what this makes me sound like. I sat down in the locker room to get changed, and I just like
Yeah.
my emotions came out of me because I was like, all right, if I never get to do this again, if I never get signed anywhere, I have this on video forever. I can show my son that I wrestled in front of 10,000 people. I'm good. Like, and
Yeah.
it just all came out of me, and I was just like, oh man, that's weird. But
Nah, dude,
yeah, it
that's not
was
weird at all.
no, it was one of the best feelings ever.
Yeah, man, only you know what you've been through. Only you know your grind and the time that you put in, the effort that you put into this. So if as long as it means something to you, then that's all that matters. A win is a win, you know? So that's amazing. So just to ask you a little bit more about that, at that time, I always pictured it like you would get a phone call like if AEW is in your city, hey, we need a few guys for AEW Dark, who's interested? Or is it like you knew that the company was going to be there and you kind of just go there and just hang out to see what if they need bodies? Or how did that work out? How did you like end up in the arena that day?
So it's you pretty much like send all your information in to the one person who takes care of all the extras. And they basically keep like a spreadsheet of like where you're from, how far you're willing to drive, if you've ever worked for them before, and pretty much like if they come back to the area, they pretty much just like cycle through and sort through and see how many people they need, and they'll send emails out and say, are who's available for this day, and if you are, answer back with a yes. If you're not, answer back with a no, and then you get then they'll be like, okay, now we have a list of everybody who said yes. Now let's see how many people we actually need, and then they'll send out like a follow up, confirmation email, like, okay, yeah, you're selected. Show up this day. Don't just show up. You don't want to just show up. It doesn't work that
It's
way.
there's a whole process to it, yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well, you mentioned that you also did some extra stuff for WWE, nothing major, but what can you tell us about that? What was that like?
But that was a long time ago. That was I'm talking about like 2009. And it was the first time that I ever had any type of like extra booking. It was it was super long ago. It was a double SmackDown taping because it was like a holiday. It was like in December. Um, and we didn't get used, like they only brought in four people. We didn't get used that night, but man, I learned so much, um, just from talking to people, you know in the back. I got to talk to people like Shane Helms and Jeff Hardy and um, Arn Anderson and Shelton Benjamin and guys like that. And I just picked their brains because I was still, I was only 7 years in at the time, so I was still learning.
Yeah.
Um, and I just picked up on little things that people did, um, before their match, and like one thing that always stuck out in my head was the way that Brian Kendrick acted, right before his match. And this was when Brian Kendrick was doing the Brian Kendrick, and he would walk around like with his crazy walk.
Hmm.
And an hour before his match, he's just walking around like a normal person, and then like 15 minutes before his match, he starts walking around like that, and you know kind of asked him, not why he was doing it, but like I picked his brain. I'm like, you know, what do you do? Like, why so early? And he just said, like, I don't want to wait for my music hit to get into character. I want to be in character before my music hits. So I'm already in that mindset to be the Brian Kendrick, not just Brian Kendrick. And I'm like, oh my God, it makes so much sense. Like, why did I
Hmm.
never just think of that? Like little things that I picked up here and there. Um, and I do that still now when I get in the, when I see people on shows, like, you know, 23 years in, I still, anytime we have a name on a show, I ask them to watch. I ask them to watch my match, and I ask everybody to watch my match, but I'll always ask, don't tell me what was good, tell me what stuck out that was not good, so I know what to work on.
Yeah.
And not a lot of people do that anymore. And veterans, I've learned, want to be asked questions. They're not annoyed because they have, there's 9 matches on the show and 8 matches are asking them to watch their match. They might not be able to watch every match, but they want you to ask.
Yeah.
They're there for a reason. Like they want this business to keep going, and the only way this business is going to keep going is the people that are just coming in learn to get good, and the only way to learn to get good is to ask questions. And
Right.
I've learned from some of the best, and like even when I teach and I train at the school that I train at, you know, I say it all the time that I don't train. I don't I ever want to call myself a trainer
Hmm.
because I don't want people to say, "Oh, well, this guy's never really done anything, so how is he training people?" I like to say that I teach because I feel like teachers or professors, they take stuff that was already taught to them and then just regurgitate it back out, maybe in just a different way. So I try to take everything that was ever taught to me by whoever has done anything ever in this business. I've learned from Stevie Richards, I've learned from the Honky Tonk Man, I've learned from Dr. Tom Pritchard, I've learned from, I did a tryout, a week long tryout once, and I got to learn promo skills from Dusty Rhodes. I got to be, I learn from, you know, people like Dan Moff and things like that. Like everybody that has ever taught me anything, that has ever done anything in this business, that's what I try to teach back out to students at Warriors is, okay, this isn't coming from me. It's what was taught to me by people who have done everything. And
Hmm.
I'm just teaching you what they taught me. It's not coming from me. And I actually get more respect from the students because some people do come in and go, that guy's never done anything. Like, why am I going to listen to him? But when I say, listen, I'm not training you, I'm just teaching you what was taught to me. Take it if you want, but you know, everybody has a different flavor of ice cream. So here's just
Yeah.
mine. Here's
And
mine.
hello, 20 plus years in the game, wrestling some of the fucking biggest stars that, you can name. Chris Steeler, the standard bearer. Hello, people. You know, nah, dude, that's amazing, man. Yeah, one hell of a career that you've had, man. So nothing small time that we're talking about here, man. You also wrestled Damien Sandow, if I'm not mistaken, right?
He was the manager. So I did a small loop with NWA when they came to New York and New Jersey. They worked with a couple local promotions, and I got to be on all three shows, which was crazy. So I got to at least say I got to work for NWA, which is crazy. And I'm still hoping to get some more work with them, which hopefully might be happening again soon. But yeah, Sandow was the manager for the Greek god Papadon, and I worked Papadon in a singles match, but it was crazy to have Sandow out there because again, I learned so much from him just in the couple hours that I met him. And before we went out, I did the same thing. I said, hey, whatever you see that you don't like or that needs to be worked on, please let me know. I don't care what looked good. I just want to know what wasn't good. And when we got to the back and he sat down, he's like, not, he goes, very little things. Here's what I'm telling you. And he told me all the little things throughout the match that just needed to be tweaked. And I kept that information with me, and I've changed it in every match since. Um, and man, he is one of the it's not just a gimmick. He really is one of the smartest people in wrestling because he helped just rotate things and put a couple things in different spots, and that just made the match like so much better.
That's awesome, man. I love hearing stuff like that, dude. Um, your current champion in two different companies, man. You've wrestled, a long, category of all these great matches. What is next for Chris Steeler? What is something that you got your eye on? Like, hey, I want to do this next, or what can we expect to see from Chris Steeler in the near future?
I mean, honestly, the before I'm done, because I'm getting, I won't lie, I'm getting up there in age. Um, I don't know how much longer I'm doing it, but I feel better now than I have, 15 years ago. I feel better now. I feel like I'm in better shape. I don't have any nagging injuries, so I'm just gonna keep going until I can't anymore. I want to keep going long enough for my kids to be able to come and really watch and understand. They're young. They're 6, 6, and 4. So they like watching me wrestle, but they still don't quite get it. So I want to make sure I'm still doing it long enough that they can really, really, truly understand it. But a goal of mine, because I've never been out there, is I want to wrestle in California. I want to wrestle in Canada. Um, so if any promoters from California are watching, I'm looking to be out. I want to come out there, but I just want to wrestle, you know, wherever I can for as long as I can and still have fun with it. Because once it's not fun anymore, then it's time to stop. But man, this is the most fun I've ever had in my life. I have stories that are gonna last me forever. I have friends that might not speak to as much anymore, but as soon as we see each other at a show, it's like we never missed a beat. Um, I've had some of the best times of my life, and I don't regret any money that I've ever spent. I don't regret any time I've ever spent, how many miles I've driven, because it's amazing. I don't care what anybody else says. It's amazing, and I love the faces of people when I tell them what I do for fun.
Yeah, I bet, dude. Nah, man. That's what it's all about, man. You have you making those memories, man. You stepping in the ring with all these people like Chavo Guerrero, man. That's like a dream come true, especially if you're a huge wrestling fan. So I'm very happy for you, man, and all your success. And congratulations on holding two championships and everything that you've accomplished in pro wrestling, man. It's been amazing, dude. So congrats. Um, is there a couple more final questions before we get out of here? Do you have any upcoming matches or anything that you want to promote?
I do. September we have Warriors. We have what we call our King of New York tournament. I'm not in the King of New York tournament, but I'm going to be defending the belt, the heavyweight championship against Roger Mendez, who is upcoming star, um, and Von Wagner, the from NXT. I'm going to be defending that title against those two guys in September, and then in November, I'll be defending this title at Starland Ballroom for Fight Factory Wrestling. And I'm looking to fill up my weekends, so anybody can hit me up. My Instagram, my messages are always open. I'm always looking for other places to wrestle. So it's just I'm looking to do it as much as I can. So
Hell yeah, and we're gonna help you get your name out there out over here on in California, on my neck of the woods, man.
appreciate it.
Definitely check out Chris Steeler. He's awesome. And what's your Instagram handle
So
again?
It's Steeler. It's STEELERWMOS, and that's Twitter or X, Instagram, and Facebook. It's all the same. And I have a Pro Wrestling Tees store out there. Chris Steeler on Pro Wrestling Tees. If anybody wants to buy and support, um, you can find all the matches. All my matches are on YouTube. If you just search Chris Steeler versus, you're gonna get a whole ton of them. It took me a
Hmm.
long time to get my name to be. When you search Chris Steeler, you get that. You don't get the Pittsburgh Steelers, it took me a long time to get that out of there. So, I'm not a Steelers fan. So, it's
Right on, Chris. Thank you so much for coming on to the show, man. It was a pleasure getting to know you and hear your story, man. And keep at it, man. And Snug Wrestling, man. We're rooting for you here, dude.
thank you, man. I really appreciate it.
Right on, you guys. We'll see you guys next time. My name is Edgar. I'm the host of Snug Wrestling. We'll see you really soon.
Have a go.